somebody is making noise or disturbing the class. So please try and observe minutely those smaller nitty gritties and definitely make some notes, because at the end of these sessions I'm going to ask you some questions. So please make notes, it will help you. And also I would urge that, since the next sessions are led by our coordinators, and they are also humans and they will also make some mistakes while their classes are going on. So let us celebrate those mistakes also, and let us take those as learning opportunities and not as opportunities to pinpoint or say that जब XYZ person नहीं कर पा रहा है तो मेरे को क्यों बोल रहा है. Let us not take it in that stride. Let us take it in the positive spirit and let us learn from them. अगर कोई नहीं कर पा रहा है तो let us try and see if I can do that in the classroom and maybe share from to your wing head or coordinator that, ma'am, let's try and do this when you are there, right? So celebrating this shift and celebrating this constant change. Over to Swati ma'am for her session today.
Thank you very much, sir. And as said by you, we are here to celebrate the mistakes and to see how we can overcome those mistakes and go ahead. The session itself calls as a step towards perfection. I know perfection thoda mushkil hai, ekdam se nahi aata, but step by step we can surely proceed towards it. Ashwini ma'am, shall I go with mindfulness? I think we should. I request you all to sit in a comfortable position. Close your eyes for a minute and concentrate on breathing. Thank you, everyone. When we are talking about going ahead and adopting changes, so I would like to share the experience of team teaching, where we try to have a perfect class. I was telling that a step towards perfection, that the new thing which we started, actually for me, it was the team teaching before also, but just as a teacher. Now the role has been a little changed and the team teaching become a little more responsible. Learning, it's always happening. By all means, it's happening. It's a journey. It's a journey which is more beautiful than the destination itself. Whatever we are going to learn that part, but when we are in that process, that is really beautiful. When I talk about team teaching, perfect or model classrooms, I'm sorry, Vidhi ma'am. I think there's a sudden glitch with the connectivity. I'm sharing with you all a Menti link. I would like to have your responses to see what is a perfect classroom or a model classroom for you. When you think about a class, a perfect class, which words comes to your mind? I hope everyone is able to go on the Menti link. Okay, I can see the students engagement. I would like to share the Menti results also in a few minutes, so everyone should be able to do their thoughts. Okay, what comes to your mind when you think about a perfect classroom? Okay, interaction, voice, and choice. Happy. This is the time to see what are the active participation, students are engaged. Yes. One-to-one connection, focus, smile faces, joyful learning, content, teachability. Wonderful. When we are talking about all these things, do you feel that we are able to achieve all these things in just us? Is it possible? Sometimes, yes, we reach a little bit near, and sometimes it's not that much. So, how to reach to that? How we can the happy faces? How we can get best of every in the class? It's always is when teachers are working together, they can do powerful things to improve their own teaching and in turn improve students' learning. That's my personal experience when I did team teaching with a science educator, Shayu ma'am, before that Atmaram sir, maths educator, also did with the discuss.
But Swati, your voice is cracking.
Okay, sir, I will try to change the connection.
Yeah. So what I'll do, I'll take 5 minutes. Let me do something fun with everybody, and then you can start. Okay.
Yeah,
You can fix your connection till then.
did sir. I
Okay,
hope
ठीक है,
I'm
then
audible
go
now.
ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, when we are talking about teachers working together, we can do the powerful things to improve our own teaching as well as to improve students' learning. So, when I started team teaching, first I did with a maths educator where I was scared of maths itself. So, sir advised me there that every time it is not content where you are going to go ahead with, it is sometimes the methodology also, teaching methods, activities where you can put on or step on, and the things could change. So, here when we started, oh no, to the aha team teaching moments. When we started for the team teaching, there were three steps: pre planning, execution, and post class reflection. In pre planning, there was a discussion on the lesson plan. So I'm going to present today the team teaching which I did with science education, Sharyu ma'am. So when we started discussion of the lesson plan which was being presented, it was in this mode. We went through the content. Of course, science educator is content expert, so she elaborated what she wants to teach in this chapter. The chapter was related with the separations of substances. It was a perfect lesson plan, but it happens a lot many times when you are doing the same thing again and again and again. There comes the saturation about the thinking of activities or about the participation of students. So here comes the role of team teaching. When we discussed the lesson plan, we made some slight changes into that. And this is the process where the lesson plan was being thoroughly discussed. And the changes which we made were majorly related with redesigning the activities. This is the second lesson plan which we made with slight changes. Of course, not the bigger changes, but the slight changes which can have more engagement of students. We tried to highlight what changes we have done, like how to begin and how to go. And when we were making changes, we were giving each other the comments with the help of live mode. Every time it is not possible that we all can sit together and discuss. So we were using the comment techniques also. When the lesson plan was being redesigned, at that time, we changed some of the activities. Majorly, we tried to have hands-on activities rather than imagining. We tried to go with more pictures and real life connect. We tried to change the method of reflection and the participation. We exchanged the ideas and experiences. Sharyu shared her content with me, and I tried to share if this content has to be presented, how to go with, what methodology we can have. And with this discussion, we came to a conclusion that if we really want to go for a good class, it should be like we should have the entire execution planned again. So pre-class instructions and material has to be shared with the students. Then arranging of the equipments should be done beforehand, and then the actual classroom. I would like to go for some videos like pre-class instruction and material sharing. There was a mail which was properly sent in the GC. Also instructions were properly sent that a group activity is going to be conducted, what should be the sitting arrangement, what material should be brought. So students are also well aware that we are going to do something tomorrow, so let's be prepared. Some reading material was being given them to beforehand. That's why they came a little prepared with the things and eager to learn. We divided the entire class into four things. First, we should have the proper initiation. Second, the objectives and expectation settings should be very clear. Then, we should test the previous knowledge to understand what new things or what we need to recapitulate. Then, allowing more and more participation was our aim. And at last, assessment and reflection should go in the proper manner. When it has been decided, here comes the first thing: objective sharing and expectation setting. Here you can see in this video, Sharyu ma'am is already sharing the objectives with the classroom. Sir, it will be okay if I play the little video and then we can go ahead. Okay. So for that, I need to mute myself.
We have learning objective here. Roll number 29. Yes, Pooja, can you please read these learning objectives for all?
Yes, ma'am. At the end of this session, you will be able to define evaporation and condensation process.
We have
I didn't take the entire clip where the objectives were discussed also, but this was the first step. Immediately after meditation, we clearly told here to the students that what is the purpose and where we will be at the end of the session. So students were aware that end of the session what they are going to understand. When the objectives were being shared at that time, it was being assured that each and every child should be able to participate. So we were using here Logistics and they were helping us to go ahead. When objective sharing has been done,
objective here. Roll number 29.
the next step was where we talked about setting expectation. The ground rules were already shared in the GC also, but before starting with the actual activity and the teaching, students were again made aware about the ground rules, how the group should work, what will be the role of the students in the group. As you can see, the students are already sitting in the groups. They were being advised before the teacher entered, they were able to sit in the groups. So that time was being saved. When we go to the discussion of ground rules, we also have clearly mentioned here that you will get a chance and then only you should speak. We tried to have maximum participation, but at the same time we tried that there should be no dominance of the student who are always answering, because it happens there are the students who are eager to answer, they speak in between, they answer in chorus. So avoid all these things. We tried this method. When we go ahead with it, I would like to just like to give a glimpse of it. I hope I can skip it. Okay. Moving to the next, the major part, where we come to know what the students have learned in the previous session and up to where they are right now, recapitulation. Here we used a very simple method of 3-minute review. In that 3-minute review, a child is able to recall whatever they have learned before. And based on that, we are able to proceed. Now, here you all can provide me a wish also. And if you want, you can give a star also in the chat box. I would like to play the video. After that, I will be waiting for your responses. What do you think about the recapitulation? 3-minute review. You can share your stars or your wish through the chat box.
As a recapitulation part, I am inviting one student from your class randomly, and that student will do the revision of the previous class that was being conducted. Roll number 38. Yes, Vada, please come forward and can you please do the revision of the last topic?
Yes. So in the until now in the chapter separation of substances, we learned that why there is a need to separate substances and why do we separate them. Then we also learned that why we separate substances and some methods to separate them.
I deliberately clip it. The child spoke a little more and she explained about the methods also, how they are being used. So here I'm waiting for the stars and wish. Do you feel that it went appropriately or we could have done something? Is it okay to have the suggestions in between, or you want me to have all the suggestions at last?
Swati, your wish completely.
It will be great if I will get feedback in between, because कभी-कभी हम last तक जाते थे भूल जाते हैं कि हमने क्या किया था. It's a core hard teacher sir, जैसे पता होता है कि सेशन के लास्ट में शायद वो चीजें पूरी तरह से ना चले. So I'm awaiting.
Ma'am, I think it's a nice
Involve more students in recap, maybe subtopic wise. Great. Yes, Dipti ma'am, you're saying something.
Ma'am, I think it's a nice way because sometimes it helps a lot to start the class, to initiate.
True. Okay, I'm just talking about the recapitulation or the 3-minute review, which we have taken to test the previous knowledge. Here, Sonali ma'am, I agree, reflection at the end, but it was a reflection of what you remember from the previous session. It was the way, and again, one child was being called because we were taking up the logistics. We were not calling all the students at the same time, but after that, what had happened that I would like to share. When the child had explained what she is able to recall from the previous session, we asked other students, are you all with it? Thumbs up or thumbs down? Those who did thumbs up, they were with it, and those who did thumbs down, yes. With the thumbs down, we noted down which points they are not able to understand. So thank you for your feedback. And of course, the teacher is calling out the name after picking up the roll number. So here the teacher is aware about the names of each and every kid, which is going on. Really great. I would like to go for the next slide. After this, the major chunk was once the recapitulation or the previous knowledge was being checked. After that, the next thing which we wanted to do is we should go ahead with reinforcement or recalling. There were some students who were not able to recall it properly. So here teacher herself explained the point again after hearing what students have understood in previous session. So reinforcement has been also done. ये नहीं कि previous knowledge पता किया, कुछ बच्चों को नहीं याद आया तो वहां पे छोड़ के आगे चल दिया. So after this, I would like to go to the next slide. Here was the change when we were discussing about the redesigning of the activities. Previously, the teacher have designed the activity with an imagination mode. Like we have the discussion that if you want to tell them about condensation, what is going to be done? According to the lesson plan, the teacher was asking students to imagine a glass filled of water, and if some ice cubes were being poured into that, what will happen to it? So here we made a little change. We tried to make it visualized one. I would like to present it over here.
Here I'm showing you one picture. Are you able to see this? Yes. Yeah. So there is a glass which is filled with cold water or chilled water. And what is happening over here? Everybody can observe this. Yes? Now, I want answer from you people. Like, what do you observe here? So again, I'm going to pick up one stick over there. Roll number 20. Yeah, Kavya, can you please tell me your observation about this?
And here the process of condensation is happening.
Very nice.
First, there are some ice cubes put in the glass.
Okay.
And when the water condenses or when the water becomes very cold, after it becomes cold, there's some type of heat which develops in it, and the vapor turns into water.
Okay, Kavya, and partially you are correct. Yes, Kavya recognized this is a process of condensation which is happening over here. I want one more student to explain it, like how condensation is happening over here. So I'm again going to select one stick from here, and the roll number 2, Aditya.
In this process, I think it's evaporation because all the milk it's melting and it's like freezing outside the glass.
Yeah, we can see the water droplets which are forming outside of the glass, not inside of the glass, right? The water droplets which are forming outside the glass. So is that process is evaporation or some different process?
And something else, I think.
Something else, which one exactly? Aditi is quite confused. Okay, again I am picking another roll number 3. Roll number 3. Yes, Afia? This is the process of condensation. Yes, this is the process of condensation. Why it is the process of condensation?
Because when the
This went on till we were able to form the proper definition of condensation, where the kids are able to make the definition on their own what the condensation actually is. As they were able to visualize, they were thinking what is happening. Some funny questions were also being asked in between, that the water vapor which is being created outside, the droplets which are being there, वो कहाँ से आता है, वो ग्लास में से निकल के बाहर आ रहा है या बाहर से ही कहीं से आ रहा है. Though it is a grade 7, but sometimes they have these questions also. So these kind of queries were also handled with a smile, and the students were able to visualize it very clearly because the picture was in front of them. The next thing which was in our mind, that let's have explanation, whatever is being understood, whether it is being reaching to them or not. So we conducted a very small session over here that we asked them to repeat what they understood and write it down quickly. What is condensation? They note it down in their notebook. It was taking of the notes immediately. When we went to the next thing, it was related to
Here I'm showing you one picture.
It was related to one more activity. Now, as you can see, we are talking about the separation of substances. So once the condensation that was being cleared, a little discussion had happened, and then we were going to the different methods of separation. Again, if you do it, you will be able to recall it for a longer time. So here, as it is a science period, we decided to demonstrate each and everything and allow kids to do the activity. It's a little longer video, so I will like to pause it in between and rush a little ahead. So with your permission, I would like to play. Meanwhile, the video is taking a little bit time. I would like to explain here one thing. Those kids who are never coming ahead, when suddenly their roll number is called out and the teacher is calling their name,
Condensation can be used as a separation method.
they were feeling so happy, excited. A lot many time it also happens that they were not ready to perform the activity, but they tried to do it. In this video, that is very evident.
Understood? And how? We will perform an experiment for that. Okay? Are you ready with that? So I have some materials which is kept on the desk. Like I have sand, dried sand. I have salt. Okay? So when I'm going to mix the sand and salt together, right? That means I'm preparing the mixture of sand and salt. Yes? Now this is the mixture we got. Yes? How we are going to separate this mixture? I want salt and sand separate. Right? So you can tell me the steps and then I can go ahead with the procedure if you are not comfortable with this thing.
Shall we go for hand picking? Easy.
Shall we go for hand picking method? No. Hand picking method is, applicable over here? No. Shall we go for winnowing? Winnowing method is applied? No. Shall we go for threshing? Okay. So we have to think about another method of separation, right? Yes. Yes, Lavanya.
Ma'am, we would separate this
By sedimentation. Okay. So for sedimentation process, what do you need now?
I need the sand.
You will need water. Very nice. So you have to add water into that particular beaker. Okay. So Lavanya had filled some water in it, right? And I'm going to start this particular solution. Right? I'm starting this solution and mixing this solution. For what purpose I'm mixing this solution? So as to mix the salt with water. We all know that there are two substances, salt and sand, and out of these, which one is soluble in water?
Salt.
Salt is soluble in water, whereas sand is insoluble in water. We are clear with that? Yes. We are clear with that? Roll number 18. Jigyasa, what will happen?
Sand is separate. When we will take another beaker and put the water in that, and the sand will be remain like that. First.
Okay, so sand will be settling down here by the process of sedimentation. Now we have two different layers. First the sand and the outer is this layer is water, which is mixed, like in which salt is being dissolved. Right? So how can we separate these two substances now? Very nice. Very nice. So by the process of decantation, we can separate this liquid, this water, in which separation. Very nice. So are we done? Yes. So here we are able to separate the sand and water in which salt is dissolved now. So sand is separated somehow. Yes. Now the question is, we have to separate salt from the water. Which method I should apply? Sure? Sure? Now salt is completely dissolved in water. Which method we should apply? Yes, yes, yes. Filtration is applicable over here. Okay. Rule number 12. Rule number 12. Yes. Which method of separation is used to just separate the salt from the water? Very nice. Evaporation method we can use over here. So what should we do now? Here we have to keep this conical flask on a tripod stand, right? And we have to boil that. Yes. After that, what will be the result?
Okay, I would like to interrupt here. Many students want to answer.
Yes.
All have the notebooks?
Yes.
Right? Immediately turn your notebook, come to the last page. Use your pencil and write in the big words what you want to say. It's just one word? The process is not one word?
Just one word and you have to show me.
Okay. Read. When the experiment was going on, only 2 students were standing over there and they were trying to perform the activity, but other were also very well involved, seeing that. And later on, this activity was being posted in GC, asking students to perform it at home, make a small video and share it again, whether they understood it properly or not. Whenever they're doing it, they need to name it, what they have done. So this way it was being done. It could have been done in the same way also. The teacher could have posted the material in the classroom and students would have shared the video where each and every child could have done it. But it was like demonstration of the activity and it was being done. Last में जो chorus answer आने शुरू हो गए थे, that was the moment when the each and every child was eager to answer. So thanks to the method which was being introduced to us, we asked them to write on their notebook with the big words, बड़े-बड़े letters में लिख दीजिए and just show to the teacher. So teacher will also be able to immediately understand whether the method which they are thinking about is proper or not. So when this activity was being performed, as you can see, we tried to get the answers from students. We tried that they should speak up about the methods because already the chapter was being read by them. They went through the material which was shared with them. This was the demonstration where we were actually trying to reinforce the concepts and the separation methods with them. The next thing which we tried to perform here, I would like to take it a little ahead. 2, 1.
From this condensation can be used as a separation method. Understood? And how we will perform an experiment.
Again, whatever is being taught has to be recapitulated properly, has to be reinforced properly. There were some critical thinking questions which were being posted by the teacher on the board and they were being allowed to discuss in the group. The groups discussed them, they wrote the answers, and at the same time, they were asked to relate it with the real life. Whatever they are doing in their real life, if they want to apply this knowledge where they will use this filtration method or the evaporation method or the condensation method and how they will separate the substances. Here comes the important chunk where we try to divide the entire class according to their understanding. Sometimes it happens that each child is learning in a different way. Differentiation is really required, but how we do it, that should be done without making child aware that they are being differentiated. कई बार ऐसे हो जाता है ना कि हम उस पे लिख देते हैं it's a differentiated learning for the child itself, तो उन्हें लगता है ऐसा मेरे साथ क्यों. Small activities, very simple activities. There was the group which was being provided with textbook for visual and word learners. They were asked to make a quick note, write down the answer on their own. A video has been displayed and students watch it and they note down it. Then there were the students who were asked to perform the activity again. It was really time consuming. And the time management was the biggest challenge whenever we start doing the demonstration in the classroom. There was a live worksheet also which was being shared with the entire class. Next step which came here was of reflection. So when we started with the reflection, we used the technique of 3-2-1. 3 takeaways, 2 questions which are still in their mind, and one thing which was the aha moment for them. Each child was being given one sheet of the paper. On that, they need to write down 3-2-1. And when they are done with it, they were being asked to put it on the soft board. Some students were a little bit confused also with what is 3-2-1. Though we repeat it, but a lot many time, if they're not aware what they're supposed to do, they can make some mistakes also. So here we tried to explain and then the student performed it.
So now we are going for reflection. You all have these sheets with you?
Yes, ma'am.
Let's do 3, 2, 1. What is 3? Takeaways. 3 takeaways. Very good. 3 takeaways of today's session. Okay? Then what is 2?
Learning outcome.
Learning outcome. Very good. What is the difference in takeaways and learning outcome?
Ma'am, in learning outcomes, we tell that what we have learned in today's session. And takeaways are something that which we didn't understand.
Is it like that? How many of you are agree? Just thumbs up if you are agree. Thumbs down if you are not agree. Oh, ये तो वही है कि भिंडी की सब्जी बनाई है, सब्जी की भिंडी बनाई है. Okay, let me clear it. When we are talking about takeaways, the 3 things which we understood. 2 talks about the questions which are still in my mind. Means why the sedimentation has to apply, why the condensation took place, maybe any kind of doubt. And there's one thing. 3, 2, 1. What is what?
Interesting.
What I enjoyed a lot.
What you enjoyed a lot. Okay? So ready? Steady? Start.
Reflection is always the most lovable part of any session, because this is the time when student truly reflects and they pour their heart whatever had happened to them. Whether they understood, they will share with you. Whether they are not comfortable, they will tell you. And this is the strategy which is liked most by the students. 3, 2, 1. And whenever it is being performed, what is the next step? After the reflection is with the teacher. 3 takeaways, very good. Students understood that point, not to worry. 2 questions. That means some doubts are still there. So in the next session, the work is go through the reflection, find out which 2 things are still there in the mind of students which are not clear. Aha moment are actually encouraging for us, which are boosting us that, okay, these things were liked by students. So in the next session, we can plan out something like that. But 2 is very important to understand what more things are required to be explained properly or where we need to change our method. After that, there were post-class reflection, which happened with the teacher. The discussion had happened with the teacher. There was a discussion in that I asked for the stars, also for the wish, what went good, where we can work. But with that, you might be thinking, where is the assessment? Didn't we take any question answers? Every time in a class, the assessment should not be done in the written form only. We can post a small video, whatever is being done in the classroom, and the questions based on that, which they can do in the homework. So for this session, as I told before also, we had taken the opportunity where the students are going to perform the activity at home. They are going to make a video and they're going to post it in GC. If they have any doubt or question, they will write it down and they will make their own notes on that. Post-class reflection, when we are talking about stars and wishes, I have Sharyu with me in the meet. So Sharyu, would you like to talk about our reflection, what discussion we had and how the entire process was? What you liked most and where we could have worked a little more? I would like to invite my team teaching partner, Sharyu, here.
Thank you so much, Swati ma'am. Good evening, one and all present here. Before going to share my feedback, I would like to thank the DBS family, our respected principal ma'am and Swati ma'am for giving me an opportunity for this team teaching. Actually, this term team teaching was completely new and mind-boggling for me. Initially, I was a little bit, skeptical about how it is going to happen, because I was doing it for the first time. But at it is well said that like begins at the end of your comfort zone. So in the beginning, we went through the lesson plan. Initially, my team teacher Swati ma'am worked on the lesson plan. She suggested some fruitful changes, like instead of telling only imagine that particular part, we can make student to visualize that particular concept. We can show some different pictures of the activities. We can go for the actual implementation of it in the class. So planning was done accordingly, which was including the objectives, formulating the objectives, then the instructions, which instructions should go with that, the teaching aid, material to be taught in the class, and methodology to engage the students' understandings and percolation of the topic. So for me, key takeaways from this team teaching was it juxtaposed students' individuality and deepening the topic in well-mannered. To sum up, the exploration of this team teaching was definitely broadened my horizons of knowledge, and I'm looking forward for more innovative ways of teaching. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, Sharayu. And for me, it was revisiting my science classes. And to be very frankly, being a social science teacher, it had happened that I was completely cut off from science, maths, and English. So now the team teaching is giving me opportunity to get back into that content also, and to think about some new ideas and going ahead. Again, from where we started, I would like to go back there. We are talking about steps towards the perfection. I know, yet we are so far. This is just a beginning where we are trying to find out the best of self and to cater with it to others. It may be possible that Shari is wonderful with the content of science. Sometimes she might get stuck with some activities. And if I am little good with some creativity or the activity, I can help her out. Team teaching is not where the other teacher from the particular subject only should come with you. It could be like any two teachers can come together. We have integrations also, which is actually a little bit of team teaching. Here, when we are talking about team teaching, I consider it more as a co-teaching, where we help each other to make the teaching a better experience, a better learning experience. So this was an effort to make the entire teaching and learning a beautiful process. Of course, a way to go. It is just a beginning. There are many challenges which we need to overcome, and we need to go for the wonderful and excellent classes. When the question was being asked that which is the best method, which is the best active learning strategy which we can have for the students, I recall one story which I shared also. I would like to use Hindi over here. अगर एक माँ है जो किसी दूर दराज के गांव में रहती है, हिलॉक पे, अचानक से उसका बच्चा रोने लगा, what will she do? Will she read the books? बच्चे को कैसे चुप बिठाना है? Will she call the experts? Will she go in the village and find out the help? नहीं. अगर दिन का वक्त है तो वो बच्चे को लेके आंगन में आएगी, उसको पेड़, पंछी, पौधे कुछ दिखाएगी. रात का वक्त है तो चांद तारे दिखाएगी. Whatever she can do, she will do just to अपने बच्चे को चुप कराने के लिए, उसे comfort feel करवाने के लिए. When we are teachers and we are standing in a classroom, what is the ultimate motto? What is perfect classroom or the model classroom for me? When I am able to reach to that individual child, my child, and cater their needs. अगर उस वक्त वो रो रहा है तो वो क्यों रो रहा है, वो क्यों नहीं समझ पा रहा है, when I will be able to fulfill his or her need, that time I will think I'll be a perfect teacher. So here when we talk about perfect teaching, it is again, for every teacher it could be different. For every child it could be different. We need to find out that USP in us and to go ahead with it. So here I rest with my presentation. I will like to say sorry if I spoke a little more, and it is just an effort to come up with what good things we have started with. So I will hand over the things to sir, and I will just like to say thank you to all of you, and I am ready for having some stars and wishes, more wishes, little stars. So what better we can do? I'm eager to know about it. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Swati. I think some really interesting things that you shared. मुझे तो वो भिंडी वाला बड़ा सबसे अच्छा लगा. भिंडी की सब्जी या सब्जी की भिंडी. So some really, I'm sure everybody, took away something from the class today. Some, something that they would like to use, something that they saw, maybe they could, and they feel they could do better. So I'm sure there'll be some very good learnings for everybody from today's session. I would like to invite Pushpi ma'am, Mukesh sir, Anupama ma'am is not there. So Pushpi ma'am and Mukesh sir, any thoughts, any reflections from today's session, anything you would like to share? Upam ji would, okay, Pushpi ma'am.
Yeah. So some of the components covered in the team teaching were pretty good, and we need to again celebrate our mistakes here. And I wish this session can be redone, because Rupamji has been giving a lot of feedback about team teaching, and we have been keenly observing those.
इधर देखो वैष्णवी, दोनों इसको देखो क्या करना है इस सवाल में.
धनंजय म्यूट करिए.
But
Yes, sir.
म्यूट करने आपका आवाज आ रहा था.
Sorry, sir.
And the experiential learning that was taking place in a class, that is something to be appreciated, because teachers taking the lab to the class is something we really look forward to. So that I found was something very interesting. So, but still team teaching, this was a first baby step, and we have a long way to go in that direction. So, but nevertheless, it was a good step by Swati and Sharayu.
All right, thank you. I really enjoyed, a couple of things. I could see that, there was a use of Lolly Loto, which was a really positive thing to see. I could also see that, we were doing reflections in the, at the end of the class, which was again something very, very positive, the 3-2-1. I think, we also tried to use response sheet, maybe the last sheet of the notebook that, so I think that was also, so some really progressive things were seen. So, congratulations, Swati. I think it will really, really help everybody. And yeah, something very, very interesting, which I think a lot of us are forgetting after we've come back from what COVID did to us, is optimal use of Google Classroom. And I must appreciate how that was used by, just putting up the assessment and even the instructions before class. I think that is a very, very powerful tool. So really would urge you to make a note of that. If you're finding difficulty कि भाई आप group बना रहे हैं तो बहुत समय लग रहा है, I think today's presentation showed you an answer to how to solve that. Send some instructions beforehand and you might just be able to solve that issue. If you're finding as a teacher कि class के अंदर कैसे assessment करना है या छोटा सा कुछ experience देना है तो class के अंदर कैसे दे resources नहीं है, today's presentation might just give you an example of how to share an experience to the children, and they can do that experience at home, how to give an assessment, and they could do that assessment at home and submit to you. So the Google Classroom is a really, really powerful tool, and which we could see in today's presentation. So I would really urge everybody to actually, जो हम सीखे हैं COVID में, let us take some good things from it. Physical classroom में भी Google Classroom बहुत ही ज़्यादा powerful tool है. तो उसको please use करें, and let us not forget that, because जैसे बनारस में देखा मैंने, मोदी जी आए तो ऑनलाइन हो गए, नासिक में देखा कि बारिश हुई तो ऑनलाइन हो गए. तो ये ऑनलाइन जाएगा नहीं, और आप जितना दूर भेजेंगे उतना और पास आएगा. तो उसको डे टू डे में कैसे यूज करें वो बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट है. सो छोटा छोटा गूगल क्लासरूम में छोटी छोटी चीजें, जैसे क्लासरूम स्ट्रीम को यूज करके अगर आज कुछ इंटरेस्टिंग हुआ तो एक क्यूरियोसिटी ड्राइविंग क्वेश्चन ही डाल दिया कि भाई दैट. सो यूज द गूगल क्लासरूम इन अ रियली positive way. I would request everybody, senior classes, junior classes, I think all of us can use that in a really positive way. It is a tool that we have at our disposal. Sometimes those things that come free are the most usable things, but we underutilize them. जैसे there is a company called Khan Academy. It is one of the most usable things. बट क्योंकि बेचारा वो फ्री है इसलिए बहुत लोग उसको नहीं करते. राइट. सिमिलरली विद गूगल क्लासरूम, बहुत ही पावरफुल टूल है, थोड़ा सा हमारा काम भी आसान करेगा, बट प्लीज उसको अगर यूज नहीं करेंगे तो कुछ नहीं करेगा. सो लेट अस ट्राई एंड यूज दैट. द वे यू सेट एक्सपेक्टेशंस उसी तरीके से वो यूज होगा. रूपम जी, वुड यू लाइक टू शेयर समथिंग एंड आई हैव अ फ्यू अनाउंसमेंट्स टू मेक आफ्टर दैट.
I would want to share my feedback as well as the feed forward for Swati. First of all, congratulations, Swati, to start off or to take this baby step, as Pushpi ma'am said, that this is a baby step towards team teaching. And I have seen you collaborating with the other teachers also in one of the observations that I made. So you've used the team teaching in the right manner, and team teaching has multiple formats. So maybe later on, I'll save this for some time later, that what are the various ways of going ahead and doing team teaching. This is one of the team teaching methods which you have made. So that's really good. Right from the beginning, your focus was very clear. I could see setting of the objectives, ground rules setting, pre-preparation, pre-planning, all of those things were right. So in terms of planning, I would say it was very nice, right? And carrying on the class, the kind of support which is required from the co-teacher, that was also being provided. All of those things were good. Demonstrations were being done. Curiosity of the student was being raised. So using multiple resources, all of those things were really good. Coming on to certain things which are my wish, I would say. The first is that I could see the children sitting in the group, but I could not really see them doing any group discussion. So though they were sitting inside in the group, they were still working individually, right? Whether they were answering questions or anything, it was still an individual work. So I would suggest that in this class itself, what you could have done, that you could have inside the group given them certain mixtures, just written mixtures on a sheet of paper, and ask them to discuss as to what methods are they going to be using to separate that. So that would be a group work wherein with the peer support, and that is differentiation. If you have used mixed ability groups, that would be differentiation. With peer support, they will be able to understand all the various variety of separation methods. So that's one thing, that group work was actually missing there. And second thing, there were at various occasions where I felt that we could have waited before giving the answer, which means that there were, the teacher should be the last one to give the answer, which means take it more from the students. So that was another thing, if that all of us can practice as teachers, that let's first probe it out from all the children and see whether they really do not know it, and then come out with the answer. So these were two observations which I would say. Otherwise, it's a good effort, good work. The way you presented it was very nice, and well done, Swati.
Thank you, ma'am.
So I can leave. Siddharthi, I think you have some announcements, and they are not related to me, right? You're muted. I can't hear you.
Yes, you can leave. Thank you. Can you guys see my screen? Okay. So yes. So the next couple of minutes, you've got to do what the video says. Okay.
Sir, are you presenting?
We cannot see that.
We are not able to see the screen of presentation.
Okay, 1 second. Now?
No, sir.
Now?
Not yet, sir. No. Not yet. Yes. Yes, it is coming.
Yes, sir.
Now? Can you
Yes,
see?
sir. Visible, sir. It's visible.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
so you've
sir.
got to do what this instruction says, okay?
It's the basketball. How many passes did you count?
13.
12.
13.
14.
13.
13. 13.
No, 15. I counted.
12 because one time it just bounced. It didn't pass. It bounced once.
14.
14. Answer is written 15.
The correct answer is
Oh.
15 passes. But did you see the
Yes.
Saw a gorilla in between? How many saw a gorilla?
Yeah.
Yes.
Raise your hand.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so 2, 1, 2. Okay. 26, 28, 26, 27 people saw. Okay. All right. Okay. Let's see. So those of you who did not see the gorilla, let's see where the gorilla is.
see the gorilla?
Yeah. It's in the middle.
Oh, we were focused towards the white people only.
Yes. We were focusing on the white passes only.
This video is from
All right. So why did I show you this? So some of you saw the gorilla. About I think 30 of you saw the gorilla. There are about 208 people. Gorilla कोने में था या बीच में था? एकदम बीच में था. उसने ऐसे.
He entered late. Yeah, he entered later.
He was in the middle.
ठीक है. So why I'm showing you this is, for two reasons. We need to understand the power of our communication. What we ask for, the children will do that. बीच में गोरिल्ला ऐसे करके जाएगा फिर भी वो देखेंगे नहीं. ठीक है, because you've asked for something, you've given very specific instructions and they will follow only that. So that is why your instructions have to be very, very crystal clear. हाँ, आपने अगर बोला उनको, आपने अगर बच्चों को क्लासरूम में बोला, ओके लुक एट मी, ठीक है, they will look at you, still they will talk. So your instruction is to look at me. They are looking at you, but your instruction is not to stop talking, close your pens, put your hands on your knees, and then look at me. Right? So whatever instruction you will give, they will try and follow that. उनका इंटेंशन, आपका इंटेंशन था क्या गोरिल्ला नहीं देखना है?
No.
नहीं था ना?
नहीं.
बच्चे का ये इंटेंशन नहीं है कि ढंग से पढ़ाई नहीं करनी है, बट वो आपके इंस्ट्रक्शन को सुनना चाह रहे हैं, पूरी तरीके से आपके इंस्ट्रक्शन को करना चाह रहे हैं, एटलीस्ट ईयर के डे 1 पे. बाद में क्या होता है नहीं पता, बट साल के बिगनिंग में वो जरूर आपके इंस्ट्रक्शन को सुनना चाहते हैं. बाद में क्या होता है किसी को नहीं पता, बट सो इसके लिए आवर इंस्ट्रक्शंस आर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. व्हाट वी से इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, है ना. सेकंड I am also trying to, all of you were trying to focus on what the video said. So our mind is very powerful. आप अगर फोकस कर रहे हो तो माइंड कितना फोकस हो गया आपका, ताकि बाकी कुछ आपने देखा ही नहीं क्योंकि आप एक ही चीज सोच रहे थे. पावर इज वेल, बहुत ज्यादा पावरफुल चीज है जो माइंड है. दैट्स अ वेरी वेरी पावरफुल टूल. आप उससे कुछ भी कर सकते हो अगर उसको सही दिशा में हमने मोल्ड किया, और उसको गलत दिशा में मोल्ड किया तो भी कुछ भी कर सकते हैं. So that is something that I wanted to show you through this video. This was something interesting when it was shown to me. मतलब मुझे I was expecting कि भाई 2 या 3 लोग गोरिल्ला देखेंगे, but I saw 30 people who said that they saw the gorilla. I absolutely had no clue when I saw this. अच्छा, गोरिल्ला देखना अच्छी बात है या खराब बात है? That is for you to think. अच्छी बात है खराब बात है? दैट इज फॉर यू टू थिंक, कि भाई इंस्ट्रक्शन कुछ और थे. ओके, सो आई हैव अ couple of things I want to share with all of us today, and we've talked about this regularly. So when when we started a lot of these, I'll take about 2 to 3 minutes and then we will close. Okay. So when we started CC Fridays, when we started a lot of the trainings, when we started and we formed the PD cell, the thought with which we started these trainings and the thought with which we formed the PD cell, the intent with which we did that was कि भाई हम लोग टीचर्स को कैसे हेल्प कर सकते हैं इन देयर लर्निंग जर्नीज. हम लोग टीचर्स को कैसे सपोर्ट सिस्टम प्रोवाइड कर सकते हैं कि they are able to deliver what they wish to deliver in the classroom. That was the thought with which we started this out. कि भाई how can we help our entire teaching body to deliver what they want to deliver? Because all of us know that each one of us here working for our students want to deliver the best. There are certain circumstances at times जिसके कारण कभी कभार कुछ गड़बड़ हो जाता है, कुछ खराब हो जाता है, and sometimes we falter and we go haywire, and at times it is our fault, at times it is not our fault, at times it is just the surroundings, the environment, the system, or whatever. There could be hundreds of reasons for it, right? But the intent was कि हम कैसे teachers को support कर सकते हैं. Now and like I said in the beginning, that this platform, especially CC Fridays, has seen various changes. How things have evolved. We've changed CC Friday. The format has changed, and we've changed over the last couple of years. But regularly, there's one thing that I've emphasized, and I would like to emphasize that again, that being a part of CC Friday and attending CC Friday is not a compulsory thing. It is not something that अगर आपने मिस किया किसी दिन तो there will be any problem, somebody will scold you, some problem will happen. एकदम भी नहीं है. Let CC Friday be something that is voluntary and you attend it on a voluntary basis. आप अगर किसी दिन आपके घर में कोई guest है, if something is a problem and you can't attend, something आपने उस दिन खाना नहीं खाया and you feel that okay, I don't want to attend, feel free to just write a small message or email to PD cell marking a CC to your coordinator and principal and feel free to skip it. आप एक बार में आपको लगता है CC Friday से आपको कोई वैल्यू अगर नहीं मिल रही है, आप ये भी PD सेल को अपने कोऑर्डिनेटर प्रिंसिपल को बोल सकते हैं कि मैं अगले 10 मीटिंग नहीं अटेंड करूंगा या अगले 15 मीटिंग नहीं अटेंड करूंगा. इसमें कहीं पर भी कोई भी इशू नहीं है. आपको अगर इससे वैल्यू मिल रही हो और आप उससे कुछ सीख रहे हो तभी इसको अटेंड करिए. इसमें कोई भी कंपल्शन कहीं पर भी नहीं है CC Friday अटेंड करने में. एंड सिमिलर गोज फॉर योर सब्जेक्ट मीट्स. ठीक है. कंपल्शन कहाँ है वो मैं शेयर कर रहा हूँ. कंपल्शन यहाँ है कि आपको 60 आवर्स ऑफ ट्रेनिंग साल भर में कंप्लीट करनी है. कंपल्शन वहाँ है. आपको वो ट्रेनिंग्स जैसे CC Friday आप करते हैं या PD cell या आप subject meetings करते हैं, all of these help you cover those 60 hours. आपको इन सब का credit मिलता है और आपको वो सारा help करता है वहाँ पर, ठीक है? If there are some other programs that you are doing and you feel that this is not very helpful to you, feel free to just write an email and skip the meetings. This is not compulsory at all. Okay? If you are enjoying and if you are learning something from it, बहुत अच्छा है. We are regularly taking feedbacks. We would love your feedback at regular intervals क्योंकि इस platform को हम और कैसे better बना सकते हैं and how can we make this platform more contributive such that our classrooms benefit from it. And that is why we are regularly changing the format in every 2 to 3 months, right? So that was something I wish to share. Another thing I want to share, I have understood through some feedback, some discussions with a lot of the teaching body that that for a few people CC Fridays might have become something that we just log into and just keep our devices. So मेरी आप सबसे एक अपील है कि क्या हम CC Fridays जो हो उसके लिए क्या हम जैसे हम बच्चों के लिए ग्राउंड रूल सेट करते हैं, तो क्या हम इसके लिए कुछ एक ग्राउंड रूल सेट कर सकते हैं क्या? I will give Ashwini will put a Padlet link, and Ashwini please share your screen also, and I'll request everybody कि क्या आप कुछ उसमें ग्राउंड रूल्स सेट करें और उसमें से हम उसको सेग्रीगेट करके फिर हम लोग थोड़ा सा डिस्कशन करके नेक्स्ट मीट में वो ग्राउंड रूल्स सबसे शेयर करेंगे जो आप सेट करेंगे. सो एंड द ओनली पर्पस ऑफ सेटिंग अप दीज ग्राउंड रूल्स इज टू मेक दिस अ मोर टू मेक CC Fridays a more interactive thing, a better learning experience for everybody. है ना? Somebody just said open cameras. I would not like to put any blanket rule to any place. I would, because certain times there are exceptions. Certain times ऐसा होता है कि भाई आप 3:45-4 बजे घर पहुंचे हैं and आप उस समय खाना खा रहे हैं जब CC Friday चल रहा है, but you don't want to miss it and you're learning from it, right? So that happens. So I wouldn't want to put any blanket, but I think all of us need to be conscious and be conscious of our friends, and I think that might help. You can also post anonymously. You can also post with your name. It will be nice if everybody can post something so that it will help us collate some ground rules in which everybody has a say and we've built it all together. Yeah, I think that's a very good suggestion. It's better if agenda is known to us. So if you get a infographic for what's happening in CC Fridays, Ashwini, that is something for us to note 2-3 मीट से हम वो नहीं कर पा रहे हैं.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That way we can at least contribute and be more participating.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. All right, so I think a lot of ground rule suggestions are there, and we will try and collate it, and also once collated, also share it with a few people, take their suggestions, and then we will try and put that up in the next CC Fridays. All right, Ashwini, can you please quickly share one Google form link? Which is on the, so there's another form that we request you to fill today, which will help us identify the trainings that we have to, that we should line up for all of us as we go further. So this is a need analysis small form, which will help us understand what all of us need as a teaching community, and it will help us refine our trainings from in the PD cell. Yeah. Okay. So those of you who filled this up, thank you for a really nice presentation. I'm sure it will help all of us, propel us a little further in our, the way we are taking our classes. Really commendable on the way we've used GC in today's presentation, which I really wanted to talk about today, and I could see. Thank you for that. It really helped me, put that point across to everybody. Thank you, everybody, for joining in.